chapter? Actually, if you see on the NCERT notebook textbook, no, this is the first chapter they have mentioned. Okay, solid state. Now there are many things in this chapter, many things. If you see that first page, many things they have written, a big paragraph, and what to learn now, entire things to learn. No. Okay, I will tell you which is required, which are the give reason they are going to ask you from this chapter. I will give you. Which are the distinguish between they are going to ask you, I will tell you where it is. Which problem they are going to ask you, that also I will tell you. Okay, where they are going to ask you, what type of question, everything I will tell you. So continuously, whenever I'm telling you, don't miss these things. If suppose I'm saying like fourth paragraph, like particular paragraph here, give reason question. So what is the give reason? Particular so is the give reason. You need to write down that question there, so that while you are studying, you should know like what you are learning there. In that paragraph, what is going to come. What some people are doing, they don't know. Like solid state starts from here. This is the solid state. They will start from here by hearting this everything without any reason. To tell you on this entire page, only one question can be asked for 2 lines. That to here. This is just explanation. You have to just read it for competitive exams. Just you have to read once. Okay. So each and everything, small minor things, whatever is required, I will give you on the board. I will teach you each and everything. I'm not going to skip anything. Okay. Only if you are doing this, what I'm telling you, you will get out of out marks in solid state. Not a single question will be outside. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, this chapter is having 3 marks. Let me add. Okay. This chapter is consisting of 3 marks. Now, how they are distributing these marks? I'm telling you, there are 2 types of problems in this chapter. 2 types, I have said. One problem is there only for 1 mark. And second problem is there, that problem can be asked for 2 marks. Okay. So, if suppose for your board exam, somebody have kept the mic on, please check. Somebody have kept the mic on. Who is that? Please check. Okay. So, if suppose they are asking you the first problem for 1 mark, then theory will be for how many marks?
2 marks.
2 marks. Okay, directly 2 marks, they are not going to ask you the theory. 1 mark, 1 question, another one, another question. Okay, write a big note for 2 marks. No, only small question they are asking here. Okay, so try to understand this. 2 types of problems are there. Any one they are going to ask for. 100% problem is there. Either it will be for 1 mark or it will be for the 2 marks. It depends. Okay, but 100% problem is there on this chapter. You can note down this. Okay, so we'll start with this solid state. Everybody knows that there are 3 states: solid, liquid, and the gases. Okay, so these are the major 3 states. Among these, if you see, then solid state is more complicated than the liquid and the gaseous. Okay, now in entire chapter we are going to thoroughly learn what is meant by solid state, how the molecules, how the atoms are distributed in this solid state. You know that if suppose I'm asking you people from the 9th standard, if suppose I'm giving you the atoms, okay, and if I'm asking you in solid, liquid, and gases, in which particular state the atoms or molecules are closely held? Your
Solid.
answer?
Solid.
At least these
Solid.
things you know from the 9th standard or the 10th standard. So the same thing we are going to see. Now at present, you know that in solid state all atoms and molecules are closely related or closely attached to each other. This thing, only these things you know. Okay, so slowly we will come to know what are the different things. Now there are 2 types of the solid. Anytime you heard that, anyone knows any 2 types of the solids? Anyone here? Major 2 types of the solid. Now solid is distributed in 2 types. One is called as a amorphous solid. Amorphous solid, and another type is called crystalline solid. Now I will give you one example of amorphous and crystalline, then you think in your mind like which particular solid you will call crystalline and which particular solid you will call as a amorphous. Now I'm telling you, crystalline means came to your mind, it will be something crystals. Crystals means there will be a sharp things to that. Okay, and amorphous means exactly opposite, where there are nothing sharp to it. It is very soft. Now I'm best example I'm giving you. Crystalline solid is a sugar. You have seen sugar. Even if you crush that, can you see the particles of that
Yes, sir.
crystal? Like
Yes, sir.
sharp. These things are there for that. Yes or no? A sharp, what we can pointed things will be there too. That is a crystalline solid. Amorphous solid. You have seen a face powder you're applying. Just touch that face powder. Can you see anything to that? Can you feel anything? Roughness or anything? Can you feel?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No.
No,
So
sir.
that is amorphous. Crystalline means wherever you will see a crystals like, a roughness like, those will be crystalline solid. So this is amorphous solid. This is crystalline solid. I'm asking you one question. Glass is a solid. Sia, what is my question? Glass is a solid. Glass is an amorphous solid or a crystalline solid?
Crystalline.
Crystalline.
Or
So if you break it,
It's a
it will
amorphous.
obviously become crystalline. So, but if you crush it, then it will become amorphous. It depends.
it depends exactly. But if anybody asking now, you know that if you see that if you break, you can see a crystals. But actually, if you see that if you crush that, then glass is an amorphous solid. Remember this. By looking at that, you can see it is a crystalline, but it is not like that. You cannot tell everything by looking that whether it is a crystalline or whether it is a amorphous. If you do the study on that, you will understand whether it is a crystalline or a amorphous. So here glass is a amorphous solid. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
amorphous solid here, crystalline solid we will see. Amorphous solid is also called as pseudo solid. Okay, or it is also called as super cooled liquid. Please note down these two things. Amorphous solid is called as a pseudo solid, or else it is also called as super cooled liquid. Please remember these things. Okay, now why I'm telling this, why I'm stressing on the amorphous solid in this particular concept, because there is a question here, a give reason question, a give reason question. Okay, now important thing is, before going to that particular question give reason, first I will explain what is mean by pseudo solid, why amorphous solid is called as a pseudo solid, or why it is called as a super cold liquid. We know that we are calling amorphous solid as a pseudo solid or a super cold liquid, but why we are saying this, what is the reason behind it? Okay, so if you see here pseudo solid, this word is fine, it's quite difficult to understand what is pseudo, but by looking at the super cool liquid, some things comes in your mind that a liquid property is there in that. In amorphous solid, what type of the property? One of the property of the liquid is there. Now what is that property? What is that property? Tendency to flow. Liquid flows, yes or no? Everyone knows that, no? Yes or no? If
Yes, sir.
suppose water, I am
Yes,
pouring
sir.
a water from here to here, what will happen? It will remain here only, or it will flow down?
Flow down.
It will flow down.
Flow
Flow
down.
down.
Anything on top, if you are, means any liquid, if you just drop it, it will flow down. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
same here, amorphous solid is also having a tendency to flow very slow, or very slowly, you can say. Very slowly, not like okay, today if suppose I'm placing the amorphous solid and tomorrow it will slow down. No, very slowly means years and years it will take. But just remember that amorphous solid is having a tendency to flow. This much you need to remember. Amorphous solid is having a tendency to flow, that too very slow. Understood, everyone?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
because of this property, which property? Tendency to flow very slowly. Because of this property, our amorphous solid are also called as pseudo solid or a super cold liquid. Now we understood this. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Very good. Now we'll go to the major give reason question. Now what is the give reason? Just I'm explaining you first. You have seen a window panes means a window is there, and to that a glass panel is there. You have seen many buildings will be there. Yes or no? A glass windows, you can see glass windows. Okay, now if you put a glass window to your home, and if you see that after 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, nothing will change, that glass will remain as it is. But students, if you check that window after 50 years or after 40 years, means a term is very long here, a period is very long, 40 years, 50 years. If you check that minutely, what you will observe, if suppose this is your window, like this, if this is your window and this is the glass panel to that, if you measure the thickness, both the places, I'm telling you, when you put the glass, that time if you measure the thickness is same. On top also it will be same, down also it will be same. But when you place your window like this, upside down, and if you check it after 40 to 50 years, after long, you can say 100 years also, but if you check after a long period of time, that time what you will observe is, here the thickness is thinner or smaller as compared to thickness of the bottom thickness is little bit larger, and this thickness is little bit smaller. What is the reason behind it?
Flow of amorphous solids.
Tell fast.
Because of the
Flow of
temperature,
amorphous solids.
weather condition.
Because the flow.
Yeah, but but see, our glass is a solid. Our glass is solid. You are saying like temperature, but here the temperature is not that high also, no? We are living here.
The gravity pulled
50
the
degrees
particles
Celsius.
from the upper
No,
side.
how gravity can attract the particles if it is solid? Now, if I'm saying like this thing, your wood is there, and if you keep that wood like this, will the wood become larger here and smaller here?
No, it's not an amorphous solid, no.
Not a gravity also. What is that important thing? Why the glass panel will be thinner here and thicker here after 50 years?
Because
Tendency to
glass
flow.
have tendency to flow.
Very good. I have just now said one thing. Because of that only I have told you. First of all, glass is a what type of solid I have said?
Amorphous.
Amorphous solid. As glass is an amorphous solid, it is having a tendency to flow very slowly. Means after some years, the glass, whatever glass is there, because finally glass is nothing but a super cool liquid. So if you take that glass and if you see the thickness, if you keep it like this, all the glass will try to flow downward, and because of that it will become thicker here and thinner here. Okay, but this phenomena is happening years and years after that. You will not see that after 2 years, 3 years, or 10 years. Understood? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is one of the important give reason. Okay, take down the give reason now. I'll dictate the give reason, everyone. First, you write down the question. Glass pens fixed to windows, glass pens fixed to windows or doors of old buildings are found slightly thicker at the bottom slightly thicker at the bottom than at the top. Then at the top. Question mark, give reason. Read that question. First, you tell me whether you have understood the question or not.
Yes, sir.
Question
Yes,
is
sir.
Yes, sir.
fine. Okay. Now answer is same thing, because as glass is your amorphous solid, it is having tendency to flow downward. That's it. Write down. This is because
Panel or what it is?
what?
It is glass panel, right?
Glass panes means normal. A glass window also you can say.
Okay, sir.
Okay, whatever a glass, if you take a big glass and if you keep it in a horizontal, this thing vertical direction like this, then also you can explain these things. It will become thinner and this will become thicker at the bottom. Understood?
Yes, sir.
During the examination, they can change any type of the question. You just remember that they will tell you on top glass will become thinner, down glass will become thicker. This much you need to remember.
Okay, sir.
Yes. Write down the question answer for this. This is because the glass flows down very slowly. This is because the glass flows down very slowly and makes the bottom portion slightly thicker. Full stop. So any doubt in first question?
No, sir.
No,
No, sir.
sir.
No, sir.
With first question, our first page is over. Nothing to learn in this first page. Only this question. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we'll go to the
Excuse me,
next
sir.
page. Yes.
So someone in the group has messaged that he has logged out, so he wants to join back.
Okay. Fine. Done. Okay. Next is, can you see this table? This table, can you see all on your notes?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
This table is one of the most important table. Entire table should be bahated. First, I will tell you, explain you everything. First, you understand that and try to bahat this entire table, because 99% question is going to come on this table, and that too question is on distinguish between. So how the question is going to ask here, 10th standard how it was, distinguish between so and so. So anything you can write, whichever point you are remembering, that you can write there. But here now that is not the case. Okay, sorry. Here now that is not the case. Here if suppose they are asking you the distinguish between, then they are very selective. Can you see 3 columns? In the first column they have mentioned the properties, if you see. So whenever they are asking you the distinguish between, they will ask you very selective. Like, I'll give you a question, write down the question here. What type of question they are going to ask? Distinguish between crystalline solid and amorphous solid. Write down. Distinguish between crystalline solid and amorphous solid. What is crystalline, what is amorphous? I have told in general, like with general, by touching how you can identify, only that much I have told. But everything is not depending on that. You need to see all the properties to distinguish whether it is a crystalline or whether it is a amorphous. Understood? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So distinguish between crystalline solid, amorphous solid. If suppose this is the question, any 2 points you can give. Now here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points are there. 7 different properties are there. Any 2 properties you can give, because one property half mark. Please remember these things also. Each property half mark. Okay, anything you can give. But on this particular, I have seen all the question papers I have seen of all these years. They are very selective here while asking the question. What they are doing, distinguish between crystalline solid, amorphous solid with respect to melting point, cleavage property, with respect to heat of fusion and anisotropy, with respect to shape and nature. You understood how they are asking the question?
Yes, sir.
Based on the properties they are asking. So if suppose they have said shape, you need to explain only shape. Don't give the nature. Clear? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Okay, good. So here first property is the shape. Now, with respect to shape, how they have distinguished? Crystalline solid. Crystalline solid is having a definite characteristic geometrical shape. This is your word. Huh? Don't put your words in this, because it should be scientifically correct. So shape will be crystalline solid. What is the shape? Definite characteristic geometrical shape, means particular shape will be mentioned to that. Then it is called as a crystalline solid. Whereas amorphous solid is having irregular shape. One crystal will be like this, one crystal will be like this, one crystal will be like this. So any different types of the shape of same crystal, then it is called as irregular shape. Definite shape means all are having same shapes, like conical shapes, all are having conical shapes. Irregular shape means conical will be there, round will be there, trapezium, any different types of the shapes will be there. Understood the first point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you're while writing the answer for the board exam, so this will be your things. Then melting point. Okay, crystalline solid, it melts at a sharp and characteristic temperature. Sharp means what? If suppose copper sulfate is, I have given you, copper sulfate is having a crystal, it is a crystalline solid. So if suppose I am saying copper sulfate is melting at 200 degrees Celsius, then if you start the experiment exactly at 200 degrees Celsius only, it will melt. It will not start melting at 198. It will not start. When your temperature will reach at 200, that time only it will melt. That's why they have said it melts at a sharp and characteristic temperature. Whereas if suppose amorphous solid, any amorphous solid is given, and if I'm telling you to find out the melting point of that, and if suppose melting point is 150 degrees Celsius, then some of the, when you start heating, then if you see that particularly melting of that solid, now it will start melting at 140 degrees Celsius. Actual 150 it is, but it will start melting at 140 degrees and it will go to 160. So there is no particular point that you can tell like at this particular temperature it is melting. So rather than what you have to do, you have to give a range. It is melting at 140 degree to 160 degree. So anywhere in between it will melt. So that's why they have said gradually soften over a range of temperature. So at 140 degree, it will start softening. Soft zatto. Okay. And after that, it will turn into a liquid. So from 140 to 160, anywhere it will melt, they are saying. We cannot give a particular temperature. But in crystalline solid, the melting point is sharp. If suppose I am 150 degrees Celsius, I'm saying it will melt at 150 only. Understood the difference in melting point?
Yes, sir.
Good. Then next is a cleavage property. Now here many things are, you can bahar this thing. I will tell you in my words. Cleavage property means what? Cleavage means what? A cave like. Okay, or else you can say when you cut the two things. I will just read. When cut with a sharp edge tool, they split into two pieces. The newly generated surfaces are plain and smooth. So if suppose I'm giving you the crystalline solid of this much, a big stone of a crystalline solid if I'm giving, and if you take a knife which is having a sharp this thing knife, he's having a, what you can say, no, a tool like a sharp knife you can say, and if you try to cut that from the middle, then you will observe that both the sides, when you will cut, you will get the both the two different things you will get. And if you see the surfaces of the cut, it will be very smooth. Both the side, the surfaces will be very smooth when you cut. But The same thing if I'm giving you the amorphous solid and if I'm telling you to cut down, that exactly from the middle you can cut, but the surfaces will not be smooth. It will be uneven here and there. Best example I'm giving you, you have seen limestone. Limestone, everyone have seen. Lime, चुनो पहिला.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes. Now this particular lime is like normal. If suppose it is hardened, you will get a stone like, yes or no? You have seen a stone, no, of lime?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Now, if suppose that lime is an amorphous solid, if suppose I'm telling you to cut that knife with a knife, a small, and it is just very soft. If suppose I'm telling you to cut down from the middle, you can cut it from the middle, but will you get a smooth layers of both the things what you have cut down, or you will get a powder like?
So
Will it be
powdered like.
a
So
powder
powder.
like? You will not be, it will not be that sharp, yes or no, because you know the property of the lime. So same here, that is amorphous, whereas I'm giving you the crystalline solid, and if I'm telling you to cut, and if you cut that, both the sharp edges, means when you will cut these things from internal thing, if you see, then it will be very smooth. That is called cleavage property. Okay, so I will just read. When cut with a sharp edge tool, they split into two pieces. The newly generated surfaces, means from inside, are plain and smooth. That is for the crystalline solid. Whereas for the amorphous solid, when cut with a sharp edge tool, they cut into two pieces with irregular surfaces. Means you cannot cut it in a perfect way. Some will cut this side, some will go this side like this. So it is irregular shape you will get in middle. Understood the difference? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Next is heat of fusion. Okay, now here nothing is to explain, just you remember heat of fusion, what they are saying. They have a definite and a characteristic heat of fusion. Just remember this, like melting point, you can say. Heat of fusion is nothing but a melting point. Melting point is means what? From solid to liquid. Heat of fusion means what? Heat of fusion means what? Anyone? Fusion means what? Okay, I'm just trying. From solid to directly evaporation means what? From solid to liquid to gases. This is called fusion. Understood? So how here for crystalline solid, melting point is having a sharp point. Same here, you even for the heat of fusion is having a sharp point. Amorphous solid, they do not have definite heat of fusion, means particular temperature it will melt, particular temperature it will evaporate, we cannot tell. So because of that, they have said they do not have definite heat of fusion. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Any
No,
doubt?
sir. No, sir.
So,
Next, anisotropy. Okay, now this is one of the property. Now what is that anisotropy? In depth, no need to go. So we'll just try to tell you anisotropy. If suppose they have asked you the in properties, if suppose they are asking you to distinguish between that, just remember that crystalline solid is anisotropic and amorphous solid is isotropic. Just remember these words. No need to explain. They will not ask you any give reason, nothing in this. Just remember this word. What is the word? In crystalline solid, anisotropic in nature, and amorphous solid, isotropic in nature. And this is one of the important point. Anisotropy. Put star in front of anisotropy. Very important. Everybody will remember the amorphous solid, anisotropic, crystalline solid, isotropic. Okay. Next, nature. So with respect to nature, crystalline solid is true solid. Now what is solid? We are saying, no, this is a perfect person. So same here, crystalline solid is a true solid. Actual solid, how the solid should be? Solid should be like a crystalline solid, like this. Understood? So crystalline solid is a true solid, whereas amorphous solid is having a tendency of to flow. So can we say a solid, he is like a perfect solid? This thing?
No, sir.
No. So
No.
just remember that crystalline solid is a true solid, whereas amorphous solid is a pseudo solid or a super cooled liquid. Any one of this. because it is having a tendency to flow. This thing, tendency to flow, is not there for the crystalline solid. Why? Because it is a pure solid. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Next is order in arrangement. This is also important. Order in arrangement. Now they will ask you, distinguish between crystalline and amorphous solid with respect to order in arrangement, they will say. So what you need to explain? Just say this thing, crystalline solid is long range order, whereas amorphous solid is short range order. That's it. This is long range order, this is short range. Now what is that order? Whenever crystal is formed, no, there is a particular pattern. Whenever any solid is formed, there is a pattern. Now if suppose square, if suppose that pattern is a square, I'm telling you, and if it is a crystalline solid, then this square will be continuous. Same order will be continuous. So that's why it is called long range order. Whereas in amorphous solid, what is happening? This order means this square brackets will be 3. Then after that, you will get circle. After that, you will get parallelogram like this. So different types of the patterns you will find here. So that's why it is called short range order. And this is called long range order, because this is a true solid. This is a mixed solid, you can say. Understood?
Sir, can you please repeat little bit? I didn't heard properly.
Okay. In crystalline solid, so see how solid is formed. Anything is formed with proper arrangement, yes or no? With proper arrangement
sir.
of the atoms, it is formed. So in crystalline solid, if suppose I'm saying here it is a square is the arrangement pattern, then this is the pattern. So everywhere the square will be there, and it is a long range. Continuously the square will be there. This is the crystalline solid. But whereas in amorphous solid, some part of the pattern is square, some part of the pattern is circle, some part of the pattern is rectangle. Anything, different things will be there here. So that's why it is called short range order. Why? Because square, how many are there? 3. Again circle, how many? 3. Again rectangle, how many are there? 3. So it is a short range. Only short part is there. But whereas here it is a long range order. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So it is arrangement, in short, particles arrangement. You will come to know in further when you will go with this chapter, no? Because many things are there in this chapter. That time you will understand these orders,
Okay.
arrangement. Okay. So any doubt in this distinguish between things? Anything you have not understood?
Yes, sir.
Finish, no? This is till here it is clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Now next is we are going to solids. Now there are different types of the solids, and here also what type of question most of the time they are asking is the give reason this thing distinguish between type of the question. So I will give you, I will dictate you whatever is required. So please write it fast, because many things are there on notes. Notes you can refer. Okay. If you are doing entire notes, no, everything will not be coming for the exam. So I'm making your work lesser, you can say, a smart work, where only few things you have to do and you will get a good marks. Because where some particular way is there where they will not ask you the question, then why you need to learn these things? You people doesn't know, because you are there first time in 12th standard. I'm continuously teaching here. So I know where your teacher asking the question. And even I knows, because I am setting a paper where I'm going to ask wherever it is an important part. Now after this, if you see that this thing is there, table is there. After that table, there are 2 paragraphs, small two lines paragraph. Those paragraphs are not required. Okay, if suppose you people have wasted your time in doing this 2 paragraph, it is not required. It is required for competitive. Just you have to read, because in competitive, what small parts they are asking, small things. One word, name the following, how it is. One sentence is there, and end of that word is there. Okay, so that is required for the competitive exams. Now solids, crystalline solid only we will see. Okay, amorphous solid we will not see. crystalline solid. Now this crystalline solid are classified into three major types: molecular solid, ionic solid, metallic solid, and covalent solid. Okay, so crystalline solids again divided, or classification of the crystalline solid is made into four different types of the solid: molecular solid, ionic solid, metallic solid, and covalent solid. Here probable question how they are asking you: distinguish between molecular solid, ionic solid, distinguish between ionic solid, metallic solid, distinguish between metallic and covalent solid. So only two points you need to remember, because whenever they are asking distinguish, only 1 mark question is the distinguish between. So half mark for 1 point, half mark for another point. Just remember this pattern. So only 2 points you need to remember. One is a definition, like explanation what is meant by this, or second is example. So everywhere you need to remember the examples of each, because they are asking this examples they are asking. Okay, so first we will see a first type of solid, that is a molecular solid. Molecular solid are again divided into three types. Okay, now what is that three types that I will give you? First one here is non-polar molecular solid. Okay, second type is, I will say B, polar molecular solid. And third type, that is C type, is this hydrogen bonded molecular solid. These are three major types of the solids which are coming under molecular solid. So again I'm telling, crystalline solid, we are going to learn more on crystalline solid. Amorphous solid only we have seen till distinguish between. Crystalline solid are distinguished between three types, means a classification of that we have seen into four types. One is molecular solid, another is ionic solid, third is metallic solid, fourth is covalent solid. Okay, so four major classification of the crystalline solid. So first we have taken molecular solid. So molecular solid again divided into three types. What is that? Non-polar molecular solid, polar molecular solid, and hydrogen bonded molecular solid. Is there any difficulty till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Now, non-polar molecular solid. What is meant by non-polar molecular solid? First of all, whenever they are saying a molecular solid, you need to remember that the major particle here is a molecule. Major particle here is a molecule. How the molecule is formed? When two or more atoms comes together, then it will be called as a molecule. If suppose there is a single atom, can you call this as a molecule? For a single
No,
atom,
sir.
can you call a
No,
molecule?
sir.
No, sir.
Everyone knows this. You cannot call this as a molecule. This is an atom. But when two or more atoms comes together, you have to call it as a molecule. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now here they are saying molecular solid, means they are talking about the molecule. So the smallest part here is a molecule. We are just considering how the molecule is formed. With two atoms, your molecule is formed. Okay, just with two atoms, three and all we will not see. With two atoms, molecule is formed. Just remember this. Now, which solid are called as a non-polar molecular solid? Which solid are called as a non-polar molecular solid? When atom A, means this atom and this atom, either positive or either negative. then this type of the solid is called as a non-polar molecular solid. Why it is called non-polar? Because it doesn't have any poles. Whenever I'm telling you students, if suppose you know that, think about a magnet or think anything. Whenever two things comes, okay, I will just show you something. Just give me a minute. Okay, now see here. Now see here. This is one atom, this is another atom. Okay, if suppose I'm saying this is positive and this is positive, and if suppose both are coming together, it will not attract like this because both are positive. But if suppose they can come together like this, they can come together, but it will not attract. They will somewhere repair, but it will come together. Okay, so now they have come together. So this is positive, this is positive. Is there any pole here? What is meant by pole? First of all, try to understand. When we are using a word pole, when we are using a pole, think about a magnet. We are calling south pole when we are calling north pole. There are two different poles, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Whenever we are saying a pole, there are two different. One is positive, one is
Negative.
Negative.
same way. For a magnet, one is north, one is
South.
South.
okay. Now we don't want anything regarding a magnet. We will discuss with respect to chemistry, that is a positive or negative. Now these are the two atoms. Now this is atom, this is atom. Far apart, it is a atoms. When they comes together, when they form one particular bonding with each other, then this is called as what? Atom or a molecule?
Molecule.
Molecule.
Molecule. Okay. So if
Molecule.
suppose this molecule, this atom is positive atom, and this atom is also positive atom, and they comes together. So this is positive, this is positive. Is there any pole between them? They will attract. Will
No.
they attract?
No, sir.
They
No,
will not
sir.
attract. That's why it is called non-polar. Understood? Yes or no? That's why they
Yes,
are
sir.
called as a non-polar
Yes, sir.
molecular solid. So even positive, positive, negative, negative. Negative, negative will attract?
No, sir.
No. Okay. So such type of the molecules where two atoms are similar, either positive, positive or negative, negative, then such type of the solids are called as non-polar molecular solid. Understood? Any difficulty?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next is polar molecular solid. Here also the same thing. Two atoms will be there like this. Here the word is there polar. Polar word when we are using. Polar word when we are using. When there is a positive part, when there is a
Excuse me,
yes.
Positive and negative.
When pole is
sir,
written.
someone wants to join the class.
Okay. Well, you said, many people have said, that is when positive and negative both things are there, then you are calling it as a polar. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
here, if suppose I'm saying this is positive and this is negative, two atoms, two different atoms now, two different, not similar, two different. This is positive, this is negative. Now you will see like, Are sir, from where sir is saying like this is positive, this is from where this positive and negative will come? Try to think about a periodic table. Try to bring a periodic table in front of your eyes, my students. Try to bring in front of your eyes. Whatever you will see left hand where you is there, this side it is there. Whatever you will see metals, all are positive. Whatever you will see right hand, whatever things are there of the periodic table, that is called non-metals. Those are negative. Now you understood what is positive and what is negative atoms?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir.
So for a polar molecular solid, this is positive, this is negative, or this is positive, whatever, but two different, positive, negative. When they comes together, definitely they comes together like this, and even the attraction will be very strong here. Yes or no? Molecular force will be even strong, yes or no, as compared to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, very good. Earlier I have placed like this. Now I have to place like this. Okay, like this. So here this is positive, this is negative, or this is positive, this is negative. In this case, what you can see, there is a pole. Yes or no? One is positive, one is
Negative.
Such type of the molecules are called polar molecular solid. Any doubt in this?
No, sir.
Very good.
No,
Then
sir.
is hydrogen bonded molecular solid. Now what is meant by hydrogen bonded molecular solid? in a molecular solid where hydrogen bond is there. Now, in which case hydrogen bond is there? That also I will explain you. Everywhere hydrogen bond you will not find. Hydrogen bond is having a particular characteristic. Now, what is that characteristic? One molecule, one atom is hydrogen. This is hydrogen always. So one is definitely should be hydrogen. But about this atom can be either nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. Any three elements is possible here, not other than that. If suppose here, which elements I have told? Nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. Three atoms. Please remember, this is the three formulas. Okay, nitrogen, oxygen, and fluorine. Any of these three, and this side hydrogen, then only you will get a hydrogen bonding. What is the meaning of that? Hydrogen and nitrogen can form hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen and oxygen can form hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen and fluorine can form hydrogen bonding. But hydrogen and sulfur, will this form a hydrogen bonding?
No.
No. You understood now what I wanted to tell? When the hydrogen
sir.
bond will form, one side hydrogen, another side any three, any of this, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. Okay? Any difficulty till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, just a minute. Okay, so what I will do, I will give you some of the examples in this case. I'll give you like non-polar molecular solid. Now, which type of the non-polar molecular solid? Just I'll give you one example. Cl2. Cl2. Now, how the Cl2 is there? Cl is a metal or non-metal? You
Non
can tell me.
Non-metal.
It is a non-metal. Non-metals means negative or positive charge?
Negative.
negative charge.
Negative charge.
Negative.
So both the atoms are negative. That's why it is non-polar molecular solid. One more example is hydrogen, H2. So here H2 also, H. Hydrogen is positive or negative?
Positive.
So both are positive. So here also it is non-polar molecular solid. You understood the differences? This you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
I will explain. Polar molecular solid. I'm giving you one example. Polar molecular solid example is HCl. How HCl looks like? H and Cl. Can you tell me the who is
Hydrogen-
positive, who is negative?
So,
Hydrogen
positive.
positive and fluorine negative.
Yes.
so,
Yes.
so hydrogen is a gas, right?
What?
Hydrogen H2.
See, what I'm telling, what you said is correct. Now I'm telling you one more thing. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is what? Gas, liquid, or solid? What?
Yes.
It is gas.
Yes.
Carbon
Gas
dioxide is
condition is
gas.
gas.
Yes or no?
Yes.
It is
Yes.
a gas. But if you cool that with particular temperature and pressure, can't it
becomes
become a
solid.
solid?
Yes, it can.
Yes, sir.
Same way.
Yes.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Actually, this chlorine and hydrogens are a gas. But when you cool down that with cool down the temperature, extreme pressure you apply, then what will become? They will turn into a solid. But when you remove your temperature and pressure, suddenly they will go to their actual state, that is a gaseous. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So here, polar molecular solid, HCl is the example where H is positive, Cl is negative. So positive, negative, that's why it is called as polar. Any doubt?
No, sir.
No,
No,
sir.
sir.
Hydrogen bonded molecular solid. I have told you. One side hydrogen, another side nitrogen, oxygen, or fluorine. Any one of this. So you can say NH3, ammonia. So here, ammonia, Hydrogen, nitrogen. Hydrogen bonding is there or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Hydrogen bonding is there because one side hydrogen, another side nitrogen is there. So here it will form a hydrogen bond, or else even you can say H2O. Here hydrogen bonding will be there or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yes.
it's called, this type of the solids are called hydrogen bonded molecular solids. Now hydrogen, now I will say water is a liquid. Can't it turn into a solid?
Yes, sir.
Understood the
Yes,
difference?
it-
No? Okay. Now I will tell you what are the things. I have given you the examples. Here there are two examples, here two examples, here one more example you to take, XO2. So these are the examples. Please note down these examples, because
Sir,
if suppose they are
chlorine
asking,
and fluorine.
chlorine and hydrogen.
No, sir, in the last one, this.
Hmm?
In the last one, fluorine, any example?
HF.
Okay, sir.
HF. Okay. Any doubt in this with respect to examples you have understood? If suppose now for your exam anybody have given like this, I will tell you HBr. HBr is the molecule given, and if they are telling you to identify which molecular solid it is, then what is your answer?
Polar.
Polar.
Polar molecular solid. This much knowledge you should have. Means what? To identify. If suppose they are giving you the example, you need to identify which solid it is. So you have that knowledge now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. So now you open your notes, and I will tell you which are the things you need to underline. Polar molecular solid. Under this second line you underline the molecules formed by non-polar covalent bond. Underline this. Everybody can see, right? All have got this?
Yes, sir.
Again I'm saying, in non-polar molecular solid, that particular concept, second line, the molecule formed by non-polar covalent bond, underline this. This is 1 point line. Then after that examples are there. There are 3 examples: hydrogen, chlorine and iodine. Underline this. These are called as examples. Then important is which force is there. Very important. Then third line you underline, molecules are held by weak dispersion forces or London forces. Very important. Please remember this. Forces they are asking. Molecules are held by weak dispersion forces or London forces. Here force is very weak because both are negative negative, both are positive positive. Will that attract? Will they come
No, sir.
together?
No.
No. Okay. Then you underline, these solids are soft and non-conductor of electricity. Please remember this. These solids are very soft and do not conduct electricity. Till here. So do you have any difficulty till here?
No, sir.
Very good. Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. Next, polar molecular solid. Under this first line, examples you underline, HCl and SO2. HCl, SO2 are formed by polar covalent bond. Underline this, are formed by polar covalent bond. Now forces, go to the straight line. Forces, they are held together by stronger dipole-dipole interactions. Very, very important here. They are held together by stronger dipole-dipole interaction. Please remember this. If suppose they are asking you the force, this is your force. Next is, these are soft and non-conductor of electricity. Underline, these are soft and non-conductor of electricity. Then underline, their melting points are higher. Till here, their melting points are higher. Finished?
So non-polar melting point is not required. Non-polar melting point is not required.
After that, not required. Just you remember this.
Okay, sir.
Then hydrogen bonded molecular solid. Here, what you need to remember? First of all, the molecules of such solid contains polar covalent bond. Underline fula. The molecule of such solid contains polar covalent bond between hydrogen and fluorine, oxygen, or nitrogen. Underline this. Next, you write down. They are held together by. They are held together by. Write down. Strong hydrogen bonding. Strong hydrogen bonding. Example, you write. Example. Here I have mentioned H2O, NH3, HF.
Sir, just repeat one time.
They are held together by strong hydrogen bonding. Examples: NH3, H2O. Next, they do not conduct electricity. Write down. They do not conduct electricity. Any doubt till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Next is ionic
So-
solid. Yes.
So Shubhati wants to rejoin.
Okay. Next is ionic solid. Ionic solid. Note down this. Now, what is meant by ionic solids? How the ionic solids are formed? There, how the molecular solid is formed? By using two atoms, yes or no? From the atoms, one is positive, positive, negative, negative. So, in short, atoms, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So, from atoms, we are getting molecules. Now, how the ionic solids are forming? From what? Ionic solids are not forming from an atom. Ionic solids are forming from ions. So your base particle here is an ion. Now, first of all, as many students have not taken tuitions in 11th standard, the base is not perfect. Just tell me the difference between an atom or an ion. What is the
Ion has a
difference
charge.
between?
Sir, ion is a
Ion
charge
has-
and atom.
Yeah, ion is a charge.
Smallest particle.
Very good, very good. Okay, so I'll just tell you here, as they have told, many people have told, He is a helium. In helium, how many electrons are there in orbital?
Two.
Two
Two, sir.
electrons. So these are the two electrons, and this is the atom of the helium. Ion. When I will call a helium as an ion, if suppose on helium I'm writing He plus, either plus or minus. What is the meaning of plus or minus? If you remove any electron, you have to mention plus. One, if you remove one electron, mention 1 plus. If you remove 2 electron, mention 2 plus. Same way, if you add 1 electron, mention minus 1.
Minus.
If you add 2 electron,
Minus.
add
Minus
minus
2.
1. So whenever charges are there on top of the element, then you will call it as a ion. Now in this case, this is a helium. but in this helium, only one electron is there. Understood the
Excuse me,
difference?
sir.
Yes.
Sir, Sakshi wants to join.
Okay. Understood the difference now between these two? What is mean by? Yes.
So over there where there's Ag plus, where there is one, why it is one over there?
I can't hear you.
But there's Ag plus, right? Why there's one electron over there?
Which one? Here.
Yes, sir.
Here, see, this is helium. Helium is having 2 electrons in the outermost orbital. I have not removed any electron. I have not added any electrons. Only 2 electrons are there in the outermost orbital. We knows that because from a periodic table. Because you know that periodic table, the atomic number of helium is what? 2. So same here, when we are calling this helium as an ion, आम्ही helium ion केन्ना म्हणपाक शकतात? When you are removing, either removing an electron or you are adding an electron. Now in this case, what I have done, I have removed the electron. So actually helium atom is having 2 electrons. When I'm removing one electron, that time how many electrons will remain there? दोनातले एक इलेक्ट्रॉन काढलं जाल्यार कितलो उरतलो थंय?
एक.
One will remain, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So because of that only here one is there. Now how you will come to know that I have removed or not? How you have come to know? See here, He plus. Here plus is there.
No, sir.
Understood the difference?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So this is an atom, this is ion. So atom concept we have used in molecular bonding, means molecular solid. Here we are going to use which concept? Which concept? Ion concept. Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to make the solids from ions. From ions. And this ion means these solids will be very strong because here the electrons will be what? Ionic solid. You heard about ionic solid, no? Most strongest solid is what? Ionic solid. Because one more thing you two should know. Which bond is the strongest bond?
Ionic bond.
Ionic bond. Same here.
Ion.
Which we are saying ionic solid, but what is the bond there? Ionic bond is there between them. Clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir.
I'm giving you one example. Na plus Cl minus. You have seen this, no? Na plus you have seen, Cl minus you have seen. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Together what you are getting?
Yes.
Salt, NaCl.
NaCl. Okay. So NaCl means it is a salt which is there in your kitchen. Salt. So how this salt you are getting? Na plus ion of a Na and ion of a chlorine. When comes together, you are getting NaCl. So this is how this type of the solids are formed. And whatever bond is there, it is nothing but ionic bond. But rather than saying ionic bond is a simple word we have used in 8th standard, 9th standard. Now we have to be a little bit advanced. So what type of bond is there between this? If they will ask you what type of force, in short, you will call it as a strong Coulombic force. Please remember this. Strong Coulombic force. It is there on notes also. Very, very important. Example is NaCl, you can say. Bond is strong Coulombic force. This is the force. Note down this. First
Done.
line you underline. Yes, tell. First line you underline. Ions are the constituent particle of the ionic solid. There, what was the constituent particle? Atoms. Here it is what? Ions. Now we understood, no, what is meant by ions, everyone?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Ions are the constituent particle of the ionic solid. Underline this. Then after that, this particular word you should know. So it is strong. It is held together by, you can say. It is held together by strong Coulombic force. Very, very strong force it is. like hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is very strong, you know that, no?
Yes, sir.
No. So strong Coulombic forces is also called as electrostatic force, huh? Coulombic can be also replaced by word electrostatic. Don't get confused. Both the words I'm giving you, either you say Coulombic or either you say electrostatic. Okay. Next, your third line you underline. These solids are hard and brittle in nature. These solids are hard and brittle in nature. These are the properties you can say. They have high melting and boiling point. These are the simple. These things are like, okay, everybody will remember. Important is this. Just remember this force is very, very important. An example. Finished? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Okay. So anything, if suppose they're asking you to write down on an ionic solid, very, very important thing is you will write down the first line, that is ions are the constant particle of the ionic solid. Then important is this force you will mention, very, very important. Then you will mention the example, that is NaCl. And there are two properties what I have told you now: brittle, strong, melting point, boiling point. Okay, fine. Next. So only this much you need to do in ionic solid. Lecture is boring
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
or no? Okay. Next is metallic solid. Here also only small things you need to remember, 1 or 2 lines, that's it. Okay, now what is metallic solid? Metals. You have seen an iron, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Iron foil. How iron foil is formed?
Yes.
All our iron atoms are there on that. So like this. Now this is, I am calling this as an iron foil. Iron means what? Fe. So here all atoms are there of Fe. All atoms. There is no other things here. Pure iron. Now how these atoms are held together? By a free electron. That free electron is continuously, with one atom there is one free electron which is continuously roaming here and there. With one atom, one free electron will be there. So he is roaming here and there. And because of this free electron, they are held together. This much you need to remember, nothing much. They are not asking anything big in this. So just write down. First of all, positive ions. Important is, this is also formed by ions. Important. There also it was ionic solid, is the basic is a ion. But which ion? Positive and negative both. Ion. But here it is only positive ion. Because we are talking about a metals, no? Metals are always positive, yes or no, students?
Yes.
Always positive. So if suppose we are saying Fe, iron foil, iron atom is there, and iron is nothing but a metal. So in short, you just remember how the metallic solid is formed. Who is a constituent particle? Who is a constituent particle in metallic solid?
Positive ion.
Positive
Positive
ion.
ion. This is your answer. So just note down this. Positive ions, write down. Positive ions are the constituent particles of metallic solid. This is your first point. Are the constituent particles of the metallic solid. Second point you write down. They are held together by. They are held together by. What I have said?
Free.
Free electrons. Write down. They are held together by a free electrons. Okay. Write down one more sentence. This free and mobile electron. What is meant by mobile? Anyone?
Which moves.
Moving.
Continuously moving. That is called mobile. So write down this free and mobile electron are responsible. This can be asked for the give reason. Huh? This free and mobile electron are responsible for high electrical and thermal conductivity of metals. Finish, full stop, enough. Then we'll go to the next one, that is called covalent or a network solid.
Sir, this one electron is only one, or like one from each and every atom?
Each atom will give one electron. So how many atoms are there here? That many electrons will be there on this plate. Because of that, as you have asked, I'm telling you, if suppose you don't understand and I'm talking about the advanced things, big things, what is the use of that? As you have asked, so I'm telling you, because of that, if you see a iron, it is a good conductor of electricity or bad conductor of electricity?
Good conductor.
Why it is good conductor of electricity? Because of this free electron. Because if you see a iron plate, anything made up of iron, you cannot see, but on entire surface of the iron, no, continuously electrons are moving here and there. You cannot see it by naked eyes or by any instrument also, but it is understood, the studies have made and they have come to know that with a conclusion that continuously electrons are revolving here and there, means moving here and there. Okay, so this free electron, so each atom will give one electron of it, and it is a free electron continuously moving here and there. So when electricity, if you are touching also here, that electricity is passing through this. Why? Because of this free electron. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, I know many things to tell, but if suppose you don't understand the basics and continuously I'm talking the big things, what is the use of that? So important is I should be very sure that my students are going to pass for the exam. And if you know, means if you are doing that perfectly and if you know more things, definitely I'm there to teach you. Okay. Next is covalent or network solid. Next solid is covalent or network solid. Okay, here they are not asking much question based on this covalent or network solid. Just write down it is held together by covalent bonds. Next, I'm just giving you whichever important things. Huh? No need to do everything. Such solids are very hard and brittle. Next, they have extremely high melting point. Covalent solid do not conduct electricity. Example you write. Example is diamond and silicon carbide. You heard about diamond, no? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So diamond is nothing but a covalent solid. Please remember this. Diamond is nothing but a covalent solid. Always remember this. Okay. So example is diamond and silicon carbide. Okay, I have said that covalent solid is a good conductor or bad conductor of electricity. Is it conducting electricity?
Bad conductor of
Bad conductor.
Conductor of
Bad.
electricity. Very good. But here one more example is there called graphite. Graphite is also an example of a covalent or a network solid. But this is an exception. This is a covalent solid, graphite, but this is an exception. What is that exception? This conduct electricity. Remember this. Overall, if you say that covalent solid is a bad conductor of electricity. But under covalent solid, there is one graphite is the example which conduct electricity. Graphite, you know, no? Everyone, what is meant by graphite?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Everyone knows.
Yes, sir.
And who can tell me what is this?
Pencil lead.
Sim-
Pencil.
Pencil tips.
Yeah, okay, good. In pencil tip, only graphite is there or something else also is there? Graphite is means what? Which atom? Graphite means which atom? Who can tell me? Let's talk chemistry. Graphite means which atoms? Which elements will be there? In graphite, which
The-
element?
Carbon.
Only carbon. Remember that. Only and only carbon is graphite. But if you are saying the pencil lead is a graphite. But in that pencil lead, only carbon is not there. There are many other things.
Please there.
If you see a pure carbon, pure carbon, you go and see in the Xerox machine. Wherever you have seen a Xerox machine, you see that powder. You've seen a powder of a Xerox machine.
Yes, sir.
That powder is called graphene. Just remember this. That is called graphene. That is a pure carbon, you can say. So you have seen such a dark it is. Yes or no? That much dark your graphite pencil is there.
No.
Understood the difference now? In graphite, if your pencil lead, there are many other ingredients are there. It means other atoms are also there. But graphene, whenever we are saying a pure carbon, charcoal, you have seen the color of charcoal, no?
Yes, sir.
That is a pure carbon.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are the small things you should know, basic things. Okay, now next is graphite is one of the important thing you should know. Okay, because it conduct electricity. Now why it conduct electricity, that also you should know. What is the meaning of that? That I will tell you. First of all, graphite, that you are saying a pencil lead. Now how your pencil is there? Like this is your pencil is there. Now this is your graphite you are seeing. Yes or no? This is your graphite, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, how this graphite structure looks like? How the graphite structure looks like? Just think of your spider web. How the spider web is there? Means it is only two-dimensional, like, yes or no? If you look
Yes.
at it,
Yes, sir.
because it's very thin, x and y axis, two-dimension you can say. So like this also, just think over it like a spider web. Like this is a spider web. So here this carbon is there, this carbon like this. How the graphite is formed? From 4 carbons. 4 carbon attached to each other and like this continuous chain. So same here also one more. Same here also one more, and continues. So there are the layers of graphite. Carbon layers are there. So this is one layer is formed from carbon atoms. So like this, another layer is formed from carbon atoms. Another layer is formed, and this layer is held together by a weak van der Waals forces. Which force?
Weak.
Weak van der Waals force. Okay, I'm talking about graphite. So these are attached in the sense you cannot see that, but the distance is very small between this, and so both the layers are held together by weak van der Waals forces. So that weak van der Waals force is such a weak, if you just do like this, no, that bond will break, means that force will break. Because of that, whenever you are writing with a pencil on your book, you see, whenever you are just touching, you see a print, yes or no? Is that a
Yes, sir.
ink? Is that a ink?
No,
It's
sir.
No, sir.
not a ink, it is a graphite. but how you can see a print like? Because every time when you touch that on a paper, that time every time this one layer breaks up. One layer continuously, it will not break. Whichever is last, that layer will break. Now this layer will break, and this you will find it on your paper. So whenever you are continuously writing that, every time one layer breaks up, and you will see a print on your paper. It is because of weak van der Waals force. If suppose that force was very strong, you will not see that print on your paper. So whatever you see a mark of the pencil, it is nothing but one layer of a graphite. So there are millions of layers in this pencil lid. Every time it breaks, and you will see one layer. Understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, you can note down this. So because of this, I'm just telling you one thing. This I have told with respect to a paper, but I wanted to tell you that. So in short, if you take a graphite powder, and if you rub that, you will not see also that it is rubbing. Why? Because whatever this force is there, it is very weak. So it will break. This force will break, and in short, it will work as a lubricant. Understood? It works as a lubricant. You know what is my lubricant?
Yes,
Oil.
sir.
You have seen, no? We are using
Yes,
oil as
sir.
a lubricant. So same here, graphite can be also used. If you take a fine molecules of the graphite, no, then it can be also used as a lubricant. Why? Between that two layers, it is a weak van der Waals force is there. So that layers will slip over one another. Understood the difference? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And because of this reason, this graphite is used as a dry lubricant. Whenever many of the times in the space and all, no, or whenever the high temperature is there, that time lubrication of that oil cannot be used as a lubricant. Why? If suppose it is a high temperature inside, if you are going digging inside the earth, the temperature will be very high. If suppose they get volcanoes or anything close by, then temperature will be very high. When you are heating anything, temperature will be that time. Oil, what will happen to the oil? Oil will
Oil
remain.
will
It will burn.
Oil will burn, no? So that time, what we can use as a lubricant? Graphite can be used as a lubricant, because this works as a dry lubricant rather than a wet lubricant. So even in the space station, some of the places we are using a graphite as a lubricant, because there the temperature is very cold. If suppose we are taking oil there, what will happen to the oil?
It will freeze.
Freeze. So that time, whatever dry is there, we are using dry there, because dry lubricant, nothing will happen to the dry things. Understood the difference?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, good. Please take down 2 give reasons are there. Then we are well over our class. Take down. Graphite is used as a dry lubricant. Graphite is used as a dry lubricant. Give reason. Give reason. It is because graphite have a layered structure. Graphite have a layered structure, comma, these different layers can slide one over the other very easily. This makes graphite a good dry lubricant. A good dry lubricant. Any difficulty till here?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
One more give reason is there. So before going to that give reason, I will tell you one more thing. Now this is a graphite structure I have told you. So these are the layers like this, hundreds of layers, and between that it is held together by weak van der Waals forces. So this layer structure, if you see, if you minutely, that is not required. Nobody will tell you to draw this structure for the exam. But minutely, if you see the structure, with each carbon atom, there is one free electron, same as in the metallic bond, metallic solid. So here also, with each carbon atom, there is one free electron in this layer, and that free electron is roaming here and there, up down between the two layers. So graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Why it is good conductor of electricity? Because of this reason. What is the reason? Each carbon atom is having a free electron, and that free electron is a mobile electron, can move here and there between the layers. Hence, graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Understood?
Yes,
Yes or
sir.
no? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So write down the next give reason, very important. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Give reason. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity. Give reason. Take down. The fourth valence electron. Okay, just write it from the first. Write it again. Carbon atom are arranged in different layers. Carbon atoms are arranged in different layers, and each atom is covalently bonded. It is there on notes also. Is covalently bonded to three of its neighboring atoms. You can see this on the notes in covalent solid only. From last, fourth line, you can check with your to correct your spellings. Each atom is covalently bonded to three of its neighboring atoms in the same layer. In the same layer. Full stop. The fourth valence electron of each atom is present between different layers. Is present between different layers and is free to move. And is free to move. Full stop.
Sir, can you repeat your voice?
From where you want? See,
Three
first
of
of
its
all,
neighboring atom. Three of its neighboring atom. From
okay.
there.
Three of its neighboring atoms in the same layer. Full stop. The fourth valence electron of each atom is present between different layers and free to move, and is you write, and is free to move, full stop. These free electrons make graphite a good conductor of electricity. Make graphite a good conductor of electricity. Finished?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any doubt you have in today's class?
No, sir.
Everything you understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If you have any doubt, you can ask, or else
Sir, by
Finish the
any
class?
means we can get the last year's 11th standards recording back.
last year 11th standard. Anyone here who have downloaded last year's recordings? Anyone? My students? Any of my students who have the last year recordings? I don't think so.
Okay, sir.
Okay, if anybody have, then please let me know, or else please tell him. Vishal, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please tell Vishal so that he can use that things wherever he required. Anyone if you have, I'm just requesting. Okay. So any difficulty, anyone?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I'm just requesting today that don't miss Wednesday's class. Wednesday's class is a hypothetical class. You need to imagine, it is an imaginary class in short. Try to make available one cube with you. Any box, cubicle box, make available cubicle box with you. Because whatever I'm going to show here, you need to do that and you need to think over it, or else it is very difficult, because it is a placing of the atoms based on the cubical structure. It is very difficult concept to understand. Anyone here in Damodar College, any student is attending the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they have started this thing, no?